Ever get frustrated trying to find that one specific piece of information buried deep within a website? You wish you could just ask it a question and get a straight, intelligent answer instead of endless scrolling and searching, right?
It's funny you say that because, well, what's really taking shape is the idea that you might soon be able to do just that.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about. We're diving into NLWeb, a fascinating new open source project from Microsoft.
NLWeb. Okay, I'm intrigued. So in simple terms, what problem is this trying to solve?
Well, think about giving websites a voice, maybe an intelligence that can directly answer your questions in plain language. NLWeb lets website owners embed a sort of AI assistant, a chatbot that understands your natural language queries and provides smart answers based on the site's own content, powered by a large language model.
Okay, so it's about transforming static websites into interactive, almost conversational applications then.
Precisely, yeah. Imagine you're on a clothing retailer site looking for, I don't know, the perfect dress for a summer wedding. Instead of clicking through countless filters for style, color, occasion, you could just ask, maybe, show me elegant dresses suitable for a summer wedding.
All right.
And the site could then just directly present you with relevant options.
Okay.
Or, say you're on a news site trying to understand a complex issue, you could ask for a summary of the key arguments. It's really about getting the info you need quickly and efficiently.
It sounds like quite a fundamental shift in how we interact with online information. So to get a handle on this, what kind of source material have we been looking at?
We've been digging through Microsoft's technical documentation, and the initial news reports from when NLWeb was announced back in May 2025, and also some insightful commentary from experts in the field.
Right. Which brings us to the core of our discussion today, to really unpack what NLWeb is, how it functions under the hood, you know, and maybe why this might signal a significant evolution for both website providers and, well, for us, the people who use the internet every day.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics. How does NLWeb actually work its magic? What's the sort of high-level process?
Well, what's clever here is that NLWeb is designed to work with the grain of how many websites are already structured. It taps into existing structured and semi-structured data, things like schema.org markup that helps search engines understand web page parts, also RSS and Atom feeds, you know, that broadcast updates, and even basic JSON data.
Right.
So website creators don't really need to reinvent the wheel. NLWeb uses this pre-existing semantic layer as its foundation.
So it essentially reads and understands the information already present on the site.
Okay.
What happens after it gathers all this data?
Okay, next. NLWeb organizes this information by indexing it into what's known as a vector database. Now think of a vector database as a specialized kind of index that understands the meaning of words and phrases, not just the exact keywords.
Ah, okay.
This enables something called semantic search. So if you type in, say, cheap flights to sunny destinations, the system can find results that mention affordable air travel to warm vacation spots, even if those exact words aren't used in your search.
Right.
The underlying text gets converted into numerical representations, people often call them embeddings, and stored in this database. That allows for that semantic similarity search we talked about.
That's a much more intuitive way to search. It's about understanding the intent behind the query, not just matching words.
Exactly. So when you ask a question through the NLWeb interface on a website, that question is sent to a lightweight NLWeb server. This server analyzes your question and then uses that vector index to find the most relevant pieces of content on the site.
And then it just gives you a direct answer. Is it that simple?
Almost. Yeah. This is where the large language model, or LLM, comes into play. NLWeb can optionally take the relevant snippets of information it found and combine them with your original question, feeding this to an LLM.
Ah, okay.
This allows the LLM to generate a comprehensive and natural-sounding answer. It can even draw upon general knowledge to provide more context. For instance, if you ask for Italian restaurants near the Colosseum, the LLM understands the geographical context.
So the LLM is the intelligence that synthesizes the information into a coherent response.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what form does that answer take?
Here's a really key detail. The answer isn't just presented as plain text. NLWeb structures the response in a JSON format that incorporates schema.org vocabulary.
Okay.
This makes the answer not only easily readable for you in the website's chat window, but also understandable by other computer systems.
Machine-readable. That sounds significant. Why is that important? Right. Here's where it gets really interesting, because every NLWeb implementation also acts as a server for something called MCP, the Model Context Protocol. This is an emerging open standard designed to allow AI agents to request and receive information from websites across the internet in a consistent way.
So NLWeb isn't just about human users interacting with the website. It's also about AI systems being able to understand and use website content. Is that it?
That's the big picture, yeah. The idea is that NLWeb could become a fundamental building block for what's being called the Agentic web, providing a standardized way for websites to communicate with AI agents, with the website owner's explicit permission, of course.
That's a fascinating vision. So my AI assistant could potentially ask a website a specific question and get a structured answer back.
That's precisely the aim. The primary method MCP uses in NLWeb is called ask. This allows AI systems to programmatically query a website's content. Imagine your AI assistant researching a topic and being able to pull precise, structured information from multiple NLWeb-enabled websites to compile a comprehensive answer.
Okay, so we've got the general flow. Let's maybe dig a little deeper into the technical aspects. You mentioned structured data connectors earlier. What specific types of data can NLWeb actually work with?
Yeah, NLWeb is quite flexible there. It includes built-in connectors for those core web standards we discussed, schema.org markup embedded within HTML, RSS and Atom feeds for syndicated content, and JSON, or JSON data formats, often used for APIs. Essentially, it can take all this diverse data and transform it into a uniform set of items with defined attributes.
And when it comes to storing and searching this information efficiently, you mentioned vector indexing and storage. What are the options there?
Right. NLWeb employs a plug-in architecture that supports a pretty wide variety of vector databases. This includes popular open-source options like Qdrant and Milvus, as well as cloud-based services like Azure Cognitive Search and Pinecone, and even integrations within data platforms like Snowflake's Cortex Search. The crucial aspect here is that the textual content from the website is converted into those numerical embeddings we talked about.
Yeah.
And stored in the vector database.
Yeah.
Enabling that semantic similarity search.
Right.
And, importantly, it's vital that this vector index is regularly updated to reflect any changes on the live website.
That makes perfect sense. You wouldn't want the AI providing outdated information. And the core NLWeb web service itself, that's the central component managing this whole process.
Exactly. It's a lightweight server that orchestrates the entire question-answering workflow. It receives your query at a designated ask endpoint, conducts the semantic search against the vector index, constructs the prompt that is then sent to the LLM, and finally formats the response. Importantly, it's designed to be model agnostic.
Meaning
It can interface with different LLMs like from OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, even open source ones, as long as the appropriate connector is available.
Okay. So regardless of whether a website owner prefers one LLM provider over another, NLWeb can potentially integrate with it.
Precisely. And the format of the answer, that schema.org infused JSON, is really key for making the information accessible to both humans and machines.
Right, because the chat widget displayed to the user can present that structured data in an understandable way, while an AI agent accessing it through MCP can parse the JSON to understand the specific elements of the answer.
It's all about leveraging established web standards to convey meaning, And NLWeb even provides basic user interface components, like a default chat window. Although website publishers have the freedom to customize this or build their own to align with their site's branding.
And the MCP server functionality is automatically included with every NLWeb instance, just baked in.
It is. As soon as an instance of NLWeb is running, it inherently acts as an MCP server, primarily supporting that ask method. This is pretty central to the vision of MCP and NLWeb becoming the new foundational layers for the AI-driven web. Similar maybe to how TCP/IP and HTML underpin the human-driven web.
And it's designed to be efficient and adaptable, right? You mentioned it's lightweight and scalable.
That's correct. It's cross-platform, compatible with Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and can be deployed on a range of infrastructures, from individual servers to large-scale cloud environments. The core NLWeb service itself is relatively streamlined. The more resource-intensive tasks are handled by external components like the vector database and the LLM.
Okay, so from the perspective of website owners, what are the major advantages of adopting NLWeb? What's the compelling reason for them to implement this?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of online engagement, the benefits for web publishers are quite substantial. And these benefits ultimately flow down to you, the user. Firstly, it can significantly enhance user engagement. Visitors are much more likely to find the information they're looking for if they can simply ask a question in their own words.
That makes sense. It's a more natural and user-friendly experience, isn't it?
Exactly. Secondly, it allows publishers to extract even more value from the structured data they've already invested in for SEO and other purposes. That metadata becomes an active component of user interaction.
So it's like making their existing content work harder for them.
Precisely. And crucially, NLWeb provides publishers with control over how AI systems interpret their content. They can ensure accuracy and maintain their intended messaging.
That seems vital in an evolving digital landscape where AI is increasingly summarizing and interpreting information from the web.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it allows them to actively participate in this emerging agentic web rather than just being passive sources of data for AI.
Yeah.
There are even potential new avenues for revenue generation in this AI-driven ecosystem down the line.
Interesting. So it's not just about improving the immediate user experience, but also about positioning themselves for the future of the internet.
Exactly. And there are internal advantages too. Organizations can utilize NLWeb for their own internal knowledge management systems. And it could even lead to reductions in customer support costs by automating answers to frequently asked questions.
Right.
Plus, it's built upon widely adopted web standards, which should facilitate smoother integration.
Okay, NLWeb sounds promising. But how does it compare to traditional site search functionality, which, most websites already have in some form?
Yeah, that raises a key point. While traditional site search relies heavily on keyword matching, NLWeb understands natural language. It can handle more complex, multi-part questions and provide more contextually relevant results thanks to its semantic search capabilities.
For example.
Well, like a query like impact of recent economic policy changes on small businesses published in the last quarter.
Yeah.
That would likely be difficult for a basic keyword search to handle effectively. But NLWeb is designed to understand the concepts involved.
And it's not just a list of links, right?
Yeah.
NLWeb can deliver direct, structured answers.
Exactly. And unlike traditional search, NLWeb is inherently aligned with the agentic web through its built-in MCP functionality. However, there are considerations. Implementing and maintaining NLWeb will likely require more initial effort than simply adding a basic search bar. There are also the operational costs associated with AI API usage, potential delays or latency in generating responses, and the possibility of occasional inaccuracies or, hallucinations from the AI, although these are grounded in the site's own data, which helps.
And what about how users behave? Will people readily adopt these conversational interfaces instead of the familiar pattern of browsing and clicking?
That's a valid question. User adoption and trust will definitely be important factors.
Well,
Additionally, some users might initially compare NLWeb to general-purpose LLM chatbots like ChatGPT or Claude. But NLWeb offers more focused, site-specific information, though at the cost of requiring more setup by the website owner.
right.
And as a relatively new technology, the supporting ecosystem is still developing naturally.
So it's still in the early stages.
Okay.
Who are some of the early adopters of NLWeb then? Are there any well-known organizations involved?
Yeah, what's interesting is the diverse group of early collaborators announced back in May 2025. In the realm of content and publishing, we're seeing organizations like Chicago Public Media, Common Sense Media, DDM, that's the company behind popular food sites like All Recipes and Serious Eats,
Oh, yeah.
Eventbrite, Hearst, specifically their Delish brand, O'Reilly Media, TripAdvisor, and even e-commerce platform Shopify.
Wow, that's quite a diverse set of applications. News, educational content, recipes, event management, lifestyle content, technical publishing, travel, e-commerce.
Exactly. Each of these represents a different way NLWeb can be leveraged. It's not just one thing. And on the technology and infrastructure side, key collaborators include Milvus and Qdrant, those open source vector databases we discussed, as well as Snowflake with their Cortex AI integration and a company called Inception Labs.
Snowflake's direct integration sounds particularly noteworthy there.
It is, yeah. For websites already managing their data within Snowflake, it could significantly streamline the process of implementing NLWeb. The strong initial interest from the open source community, too, evidenced by the rapid accumulation of stars and forks on its GitHub repository after launch.
Yeah.
That also indicates considerable excitement around the project.
Yeah.
Currently, it's in a pilot and beta phase, but the expectation is that we'll see broader adoption by enterprises within the next, say, 2 to 3 years.
Okay, let's revisit MCP for a moment. Can you elaborate a bit on how that integration actually works in practice?
Sure. So remember, every instance of NLWeb automatically includes MCP server functionality. MCP's fundamental aim is to establish a universal and model-agnostic method for AI systems to interact with information on the web. Think of MCP as the underlying communication protocol, maybe similar to HTTP.
Right.
while NLWeb provides the content and formatting, much like HTML does.
Okay, so how would an AI agent go about using this ask method to query a website?
Well, an AI agent would essentially send a standard HTTP request to a specific NLWeb endpoint on a website. This request would utilize the ask method and include the AI agent's query in natural language. The NLWeb server on that website would then process the question, perform the semantic search, and return a structured answer in that schema.org JSON format we've been discussing.
And this ability for AI agents to query websites is something that the website owner has to explicitly enable. They're in control.
Absolutely. So a publisher retains full control over whether or not they want to enable MCP access to their content. It's opt-in. It's also worth noting that Anthropic, the developers behind the Claude AI model, have expressed strong support for MCP, so their AI is expected to be able to utilize it. This could lead to scenarios where AI assistants leverage MCP to retrieve real-time information from NLWeb-enabled websites.
Interesting. It sounds like MCP is trying to create a common language for AI and the web. How does it differ from other initiatives in the AI space we hear about?
That's a good way to think about it. Google's agent-to-agent protocol, for example, is more focused on facilitating collaboration and task coordination between different AI agents. And the robots.txt standard, and more recently LLMs.txt, are mainly about setting permissions for AI crawlers regarding data usage for training purposes.
Right. Controlling crawling.
Exactly.
Mm.
NLWeb and MCP are distinct. They are about direct, real-time interaction, enabling AI to actively query websites for specific information. They are more akin to the tools that enable a direct conversation, if you will.
This whole NLWeb project seems quite innovative. Who is the main driving force behind its creation? Is there a key person?
Yeah, the key individual behind NLWeb is Dr. R.V. Guha, who is a Microsoft technical fellow whose background is incredibly relevant to this development. He was actually one of the original co-creators of both RSS and schema.org.
Wow, really?
Yeah, foundational technologies that underpin much of the modern web. So in many ways, NLWeb represents a direct evolution of his previous groundbreaking work in the realm of the semantic web.
It's like he's been laying the groundwork for this kind of technology for decades. That's amazing.
Precisely. And importantly, NLWeb is released as open source software under the MIT license, which has fostered a growing community of developers who are contributing by building new connectors, improving the documentation, and providing valuable feedback.
So it's not solely a Microsoft initiative, it's becoming a collaborative effort within the open source community.
Exactly. And there are even links, apparently, to some earlier related projects that were incubated within OpenAI, which likely contributed to the thinking and development behind NLWeb.
All right, let's bring it all together then. What are the main takeaways from our deep dive into NLWeb? What should people remember?
In essence, NLWeb is a new open-source project that empowers websites to offer a natural language interface powered by AI. Yeah. It leverages existing website data, uses vector databases for sophisticated semantic search, and can integrate with various LLMs to provide structured answers to user queries. Critically, every NLWeb implementation also functions as an MCP server, allowing AI agents to query the site's content in a standardized way with the publisher's consent.
And the potential advantages are significant, right? For website owners, it's about enhancing user engagement, getting more value from their existing data,
Right.
maintaining control over how AI perceives their content, and participating in this emerging agentic web. And for us as internet users, it promises a more intuitive and hopefully more efficient way to access information online.
Absolutely. However, it's important to acknowledge that there are also hurdles to overcome, things like the initial effort required for implementation, the ongoing costs associated with AI usage, potential response delays, and the need for user trust and adoption. It's not a magic bullet. While the technology is still in its early stages, the enthusiastic response from the community and the involvement of significant early adopters suggest a pretty promising future.
So here's a thought for you to consider as we wrap up. Could NLWeb and the Model Context Protocol represent the dawn of a truly intelligent and interconnected web? A web where information flows seamlessly not only between humans, but also between humans and AI, and where asking a website a question becomes as commonplace as performing a keyword search.
Yeah, that raises a really important question for you to ponder. We encourage you to keep an eye out for NLWeb implementations on the websites you frequent, and to consider the wider implications of this agentic web for how you'll access information in the years to come. And if you have a technical inclination, definitely explore the open source repository on GitHub. The way we interact with the web might just be on the cusp of a significant transformation.